Are we good? Okay. Hello everyone, Zekira G Drake is back with another Pokemon vid. This time it's going to be a team report, and this is the team I used to get first place at a recent tournament just last week actually from Pilipinas Got Pokemon, where there were 84 entrants and I took it all first place. Yeah, it was a best of 3 tournament, so that lasted a while. But yeah, I eventually pulled through with the first place, although there were some shaky things. We did get the first place, so that's good. With minimal hacks, I may say. So yeah. Disclaimer first, this is not my original team at all. This team is actually by Hirofumi Kimura. And he didn't post about this yet. I believe he's going to use it in the February 1 tournament. There's an offline tournament in Japan right now he's attending, so he might use this team. That's why I held off from reporting this earlier than I should. So yeah, I'll link to his Twitter in the description. And I based this team off of 2 videos that he posted. So not everything here is accurate to the same thing that he's using. I just inferred it from the 2 videos that he posted about it, so I don't have every set. But it did win me the tournament, so that's great. Without further ado, let's talk about the sets. So first, let's check out here the Tyranitar. The Tyranitar is a pretty standard one. It's a weakness policy Tyranitar, has Crunch, Rock Slide, Superpower, Protect. But the unique thing about this Tyranitar is it's actually min speed. So this Tyranitar is actually meant usually for Trick Room. And of course, Max Dynamax, you can't really go wrong with that. It's kind of interesting because Tyranitar's stats are so good that it can be used in and out of Trick Room and serves as, a sand setter. And you can win the Weather Wars a bit more consistently if your Tyranitar is slower. You also get to proc your weakness policy ahead of the other Tyranitar in the case that both of you are Dynamax outside the Trick Room, so that's a thing. And of course, the best part is you are actually really good in Trick Room. So next we have Excadrill to complete the Sand Core. This Excadrill is nothing special, it's just max attack, max speed, HP. Oh, by the way, the Tyranitar has just max HP, max attack, nothing surprising there. Excadrill is Jolly, max speed, max attack, pretty standard stuff. Also a pretty standard moveset. I don't really see a reason to not give it a standard moveset here. It's a fantastic Pokemon. High HP, low defenses. It's a bit of a glass cannon. And in terms of usability, Excadrill is probably one of the secondary sweeper Pokemon in this team. It's not as powerful anymore in this format, although it's still good. Because just people seeing Tyranitar Excadrill have them shuffling around with their sand counters, and sand is still pretty strong. I think it's the easiest weather to use, with Tyranitar and Excadrill both complementing each other and being pretty oppressive. So yeah, there's that. A Life Orb giving it more power than it should. It's actually able to 2H KO Duraludon with high horsepower. Dynamax Duraludon with high horsepower, which is great as long as you don't have any attack drops from Intimidate or something like that. And yeah, and most Duraludons don't run fire moves, so Excadrill can stay a while as long as it's not facing up a water type or fire type, especially Arcanine. Next, we have probably one of the most powerful Pokemon in this team. It's going to be Togekiss, and this is Super Lux Scope-Lens Togekiss. So, if you guys have been watching one of my Aim for Master videos, I got wrecked with this once, and I didn't know that Scope-Lens Togekiss was gonna be a thing. So, and when I saw that, I was like, that's really dumb. and then I played a bit more games. It's like, I can't take out Togekiss. What the heck? So I figured maybe use it myself. And it just turned out that Hirofumi Kimura was also using Super Lux Scope-Lens Togekiss. So that's it. Max Dynamax, no Protect, triple attacking because you need Heat Wave and Dazzling Gleam for the most part. The effort value, it's modest, okay. Effort values, I believe it's 108 HP, 252 SP attack, and the rest in speed. The speed, I'll probably post what it actually outspeeds. I'll have to look it up again later. But it does hit a certain speed mark. Rest dumped in special attack, and then special attack maximized, and then HP last. So it just needed to outspeed that one thing, which I'm gonna post in the edited version of this video, which you guys will see on the screen here. And then, yeah, max special attack because it's meant to attack. HP dumped to the rest because it's bulky as heck. So what does this Togekiss do? It does a lot of things. It stays in the field and it either deals damage or supports with Follow Me, but usually it deals damage. And damage is really what this Togekiss is all about, because Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how much I've damaged people even through 2 snarls, 3 snarls because of the crits. And by the time that Togekiss gets taken out, the other Pokemon can come in and just sweep the rest. So yeah, that's gonna be it. This is probably one of my most used Pokemon. Yeah, I led this almost all the time. Togekiss is so good, man. The next we have Rotom-mow. And, I still don't know this EV set. I've been researching throughout throughout Google or whatever for its EVs. And, like, I saw it on Picalytics. This is the most used EV set for Rotom. And I'm like, I still don't know what this does. So, but I copied it anyway. So, you'll see that set on the screen here right now. And yeah, so why Rotom-mow over any other Rotom farm? It's because Rotom-mow is probably one of the best Rotoms to put in a sand team. It actually wins against Ferrothorn. That's really big. It's still got the good stuff from the usual Rotom, which is Thunderbolt, and then a coverage move and Leaf Storm for ground types, Will-O-Wisp, Protect. Just the good stuff. I'm still not sure about the correct set for this one because this one is the Pokemon I still haven't seen in any of Hirofumi Kimuno's videos. But it's helping. It goes well with Togekiss. It has a great defensive synergy with Togekiss, I believe. They don't resist fire, and ice. But there were times where I needed to make Togekiss dodge electric moves, and that's where I switched in Rotom-mow. It really helped in that time where I was battling a G-Max Pikachu team, and good thing I remember that I had Rotom-mow because Rotom-mow was the one that really, really helped me win against that one. It was kind of hard. So, I believe, yeah, the EV spread, again, I'll post it in the text in the edited video, and that's gonna be it. So, next we have Draco... Wait! Oh, wait! I just realized something. Let me just change that. I'm sorry, guys. I just realized something about my Dracovish. Oh no! Did I just seriously win a tournament with a suboptimal Dracovish? No way. So let me just fix that real quick. Buy this Adamant Mint. I cannot believe that. I won with a suboptimal Dracovish. Okay, let me just... No way, okay. No, the nature does not actually... I'm pretty sure the nature did not actually save me from anything. Alright, there we go. Now that's the correct nature. And then put you back. Let's do it. Okay. Alright, there we go. So Dracovish is gonna be the 5th Pokemon. This slot still keeps shuffling. And I've seen this slot between Dragapult and Dracovish. The most updated version of this team is the Dracovish one. So yeah, that's it. And then I don't know what set it runs because I've only seen Hirofumi's Dracovish like once, and I don't believe it even attacked, so I don't even know what item it was. So I just went with the standard Dracovish set, which is max attack, max speed, and I believe I got 1 SP def, 4 SP def, yeah. Choice Band, Strong Jaw, the works. I had Leech Life over Ice Fang at one point, but then I realized I didn't have anything that dealt properly. I needed a better neutral attack, which is why Ice Fang was chosen and replaced Leech Life with. So, I mean, Leech Life was replaced with Ice Fang. So, yeah. Dracovish, I usually don't bring this out because it's usually a sub-sweeper. And I've seen more success with it when fighting against teams that can deal with Sand and Trick Room options. And it's still pretty good. Usually, when I bring it out, and there's so much counters to it now because of just how destructive it is, so I kind of got to switch it out. And the great thing about Dracovish is it also has defensive synergy with Rotom-mow. So both of them can switch in, switch out. Dracovish has 4 times resistance to fire and water, which is great against both sun and rain teams. Sun teams in particular, Charizard is picking up a lot of steam, so Dracovish might actually help you resist that and hit back with a Vicious Rend if you need. So yeah, nothing surprising here. Lastly, we have Dusclops, the premier, this year's Porygon 2 pretty much, but even bulkier. And I absolutely hate this Pokemon. It's so dumb. Yeah, what is this Dusclops set. I believe it was 252 HP, 156 defense, and 100 SP def. Nature is relaxed, so that's plus def minus speed. Because of course we wanted to move faster than Trick Room because it's meant to set up Trick Room for 3 of its slow allies, which would be Tyranitar, Togekiss, and Rotom-mow. Now, Dusclops is one of those Pokemon with a 4 moveset syndrome thing, because definitely you want Trick Room, but then the rest of the moves is a bit hard, because you'd want maybe Nightshade for your main attack, which I clearly don't. Sometimes you also want Will-O-Wisp so that you can burn something, and Will-O-Wisp in conjunction with Pain Split is actually pretty cool in one of the teams I've tried. But I don't have Will-O-Wisp either because I needed Bulldoze to support, to proc Tyranitar's weakness policy in the same way you do it for Rhyperior. So that's pretty much the combo, just with Tyranitar except Rhyperior. And Ally Switch basically serves as a second protect, I guess. It's a second protect that leaves your opponent guessing. And I swear, the threat of Ally Switch sometimes just won me the game with the mind games. So there were times where I had a 50% chance of losing because if my opponent predicted Ally Switch correctly, I would have lost, but if they didn't, then I won. So there was that. But there were times I kind of wish I did when I wasn't using Ally Switch, I could do something like maybe Nightshade or Will-O-Wisp, but that wasn't happening. So I guess I just had to Bulldoze just to get some chip damage in. Very small chip damage, but it's still chip damage. So yeah, that is going to be the entire team. And yeah, so you can copy that set. I'm going to putting it up for rent right now. And then after that, let's talk about how to actually use this team. So let me just put this up for rent first, and then I'll record a second video to talk about what this team actually does. So, all right. So rental teams, I'll have this up for rent with the corrected nature for Dracovish. I cannot believe I was actually using the wrong Dracovish. So let's have it up for rent. Share, sorry. Alright, let's put it here. Where's Team 5? There we go. Alright, that is going to be the team, and it's up for rent. That's the code. I'll probably change this whenever Hirofumi Kimura actually shares this team, if this is still the version of the team that he's using. But in any case, that's going to be the team for rent, and now I'm going to be talking about how to actually use the team. So I'll see you there. I'll cut the video for now and follow me as we explore the team synergy. Back, and now let's discuss the synergy of this team. So the great thing about this team, that it's a compilation of good stuffs, and it actually has three forms of speed control, and you can mix and match between them depending on the matchup. And while they might conflict depending on what you have in the back, you probably will survive a lot of things provided you play it smart against teams that you can't autopilot. So let's start with the most common lead, and this is the one I will usually lead the most, and that will be Togekiss plus Dusclops with Tyranitar in the back. This is the safest lead, as Togekiss and Dusclops are both bulky. Togekiss can deliver damage even if it doesn't have the speed advantage, either in or outside of Trick Room. And then Dusclops can just keep Togekiss alive with Ally Switch, or just use Trick Room immediately at the start if Togekiss is not fast enough, and things like that. So this is really safe lead. This is a really safe lead, and sometimes if you really want to be ballsy, you can just follow me with Togekiss, set up Trick Room with Dusclops, and then bring Tyranitar in and just wreck things. Bring Tyranitar in, Bulldoze, and wreck things. There were actually I had at least 3 games that went like that, where I just sacrificed Togekiss, Trick Roomed immediately, and then activated Tyranitar's weakness policy, and then the next 3 turns are basically wrecking one Pokemon at a time. It was stupid. And even if, for example, there are times where I'm stuck with Trick Room, but Trick Room was kind of running out, but Togekiss is not going down and I can't bring Tyranitar in safely, Togekiss's Scope Lens and 50% critical from Scope Lens Super Luck is already dealing a stupid amount of damage. The great thing about the Togekiss Dusclops lead is it doesn't get choked, even if it's in a disadvantageous position, because Togekiss is doing a lot. I swear, these two just do a lot on their own, and if need be, you can protect Togekiss with ally switches so that you can redirect to Dusclops if needed. Just make sure that if you are going to need Trick Room later in the match, you will protect Dusclops, so don't let it get KO'd until you need Trick Room. Of course, because late Trick Room is really powerful, but that's provided you don't get Dusclops KO'd by then. As well as sometimes you might also need Togekiss as your primary attacker for some of the weaknesses of this team. So for example, Ferrothorn, you might want to keep Togekiss just to be sure. So don't just let Togekiss get KO'd, especially if the opponent has Pokemon that only Togekiss can answer. Definitely keep them alive. Switch in the 4th Pokemon if you need. Sacrifice Tyranitar if you think Trick Room won't be needed, and just, well, not really sacrifice Tyranitar. Maybe you can bring it in a bit safely, like with a predicted resistance or something, and then maybe Dynamax it and get some weakness policy boost. Even outside of Trick Room, it'll work. Tyranitar still deliver a lot of damage, and then when everything is clear, bring Togekiss back in to take out that Ferrothorn or some Conkeldurr or something. That's one way you can do it. So this is usually my lead, and in game 1 for BO3, these two will usually be my lead with Tyranitar in the back. That's going to be the standard mode, that's the plan, and I will usually push that plan until I can pretty much do it. So the next lead, this is usually game 2 or game 3 lead, would be Togekiss Excadrill. This is one of the lesser successful leads I've had, but it's still a thing. Usually what you want to in the back is Tyranitar, but not always, depending on the mode that you're going for. So why you want Tyranitar in the back of this is so that in case you need them suddenly speed control, like, or to shut off an immediate weather, you can switch in Tyranitar to rob the opponent of weather on the same turn and then give Sand Rush boost immediately in turn 1. Sacrifice, although you will have to take care of whatever goes into the Tyranitar slot. But yeah, one thing you have to be careful with this team is consider whether you really want to Dynamax Excadrill or not. Excadrill has a pretty good attacking, but it's a bit too soft for the long term. And I find that Excadrill is something you don't really want to be Dynamaxing all the time. What you really want to do is make it do constant 50% damages, 100% damages, cover some good attacks with the Life Orb boosted attacks, keep it away from Intimidate, and switch it out when you need. Don't just keep Dynamaxing Excadrill. Only Dynamax it if you're sure that you don't have anything that Excadrill needs to finish off at the end. I've lost a couple of rounds because I Dynamaxed Excadrill and I just kind of lost the speed control because Excadrill is still prone to getting taken out in 2 turns, so that's really not what you want to do. But yeah, it's not to say that you don't Dynamax Excadrill, you just have to be careful when you want to Dynamax Excadrill. So usually what you want to Dynamax here would either be Tyranitar or Togekiss. That goes for almost all the compositions here. And Togekiss can provide support in case you can't bring Tyranitar in. You can use Togekiss for boosted Max Airstream, Max Starfall to get rid of the pesky fire types, fighting types, or whatever, water types. And also give speed control to whatever you have in the back. So you can give Excadrill a +1 speed in case, so you can, like, say, protect Excadrill first, then Max Airstream to give it a boost in speed so that the second turn will be a bit more in your favor. Or you can switch Dracovish in a resistance and then give that a +1 speed with Max Airstream. That's another thing. So you really just have to gauge which one you want to stay on, which one you want to keep in the field the first turn. Do you want to keep rocking Togekiss Excadrill to battle Duraludon or whatever, or do you want to keep Excadrill for later so to sweep, or do you want to keep Togekiss for later so you switch in Tyranitar and things like that. Dracovish and Tyranitar are usually the ones you'd want to have in the back here, but that's not always the case. If you need a more defensive option, you include Rotom in the back so that Togekiss has a good defensive switch in, and Rotom can weather the storm for some special Dynamaxes that won't have super effective moves on it. Yeah, Rotom can stall those out before bringing in Togekiss again. So yeah, that's going to be the lead. That's going to be lead number 2. Lead number 3, I've actually had more success with this, but I'm just an idiot using Excadrill Togekiss, which is... I'm just bad at it. But this is your lead 3, it's just pure sand. Pure sand just gives you immediate advantage. It scares people, and yeah, it just gives you immediate advantage. You can turn 1 Dynamax Tyranitar here with very few things that can take it out. Threat and weakness policy, soften up things with Excadrill, and then finish off with whatever in the back. You can have a lot of things in the back. Dracovish, Rotom, Togekiss, the works. You can even have Dusclops in the back just in case you want to protect Tyranitar first. So you can switch out Tyranitar for, let's say, Rotom, and then you have Rotom and Excadrill in the field, and then you switch your mode into trying to fish for a late Trick Room into a Tyranitar sweep. That's also a possibility, while Excadrill is trying to soften up the blows, soften up the opponent so that the Dusclops Tyranitar counters will not be there. That's another option. So yeah, there's just a lot of flexibility here, and if you, in case you want to bring Togekiss in the back as well, you can in fact bring in Togekiss against things like Mudsdale to resist Max Quake, or be immune to Max Quake, because, you know, grounded fighting is something you don't want to be hitting here, which is where Togekiss and Rotom come in. Togekiss in particular can resist fighting, Dusclops can also resist fighting, Rotom and Togekiss can resist ground moves, which are usually what you don't want to deal with, and for water moves you have Rotom and Dracovish, so there's a lot of things protecting both of these. So while there are a lot of sand counters now, there's also a lot of switch-ins you can do to combat it, which is why sand is like one of the easiest teams to use in doubles right now. And I think if you're a beginner in VGC 2020, I think you should start off with a sand team and just go from there, because this is probably one of the easiest leads to use. Then lastly, I think this is a tertiary lead. The tertiary lead would be Togekiss Dracovish. I've seen this a few times. It's basically immediate threaten with Togekiss lead. Togekiss Dynamax on turn 1, give Dracovish some boosts, and then just, you know, try biting everything. Although, because a lot of people already have ways around both Togekiss and Dracovish, you might want to consider switching out in case. So usually, to complete the defensive core, you have Rotom in the back so that you can switch Togekiss out in case. Or you may want to have Dusclops, but I'm really not sure if you really want Dusclops in this composition. You can even have the Sand Duo in the back in case you need a secondary mode. So Excadrill fits well in this because it can serve as like the cleanup sweeper in case you can't do anything with Dracovish, or you need Dracovish, you need to resist something like a fairy move. So you could switch an Excadrill Dynamax Togekiss, give it a speed boost. Even without sand, it's just gonna start wrecking through things. Yep, that's pretty much it. A lot of the power from this team comes from the support that Togekiss gives, and yeah, or late, what do you call this? Late Trick Room with Dusclops. Yeah, the important part is you always have to be on top of the speed game, and there are a lot of games that I won from behind just because I had the speed control in the late phases. So 2-on-4s that became 2-on-4s that I still won. Bad turn 1s that I converted from nowhere because I was able to get the secondary speed control, or things like that. Now, for leads that you probably don't want to do, these are leads that you probably won't want to do, but in special cases when you get some gimmick teams or some techniques you've seen before, you might want to lead this. So first up, we don't want Togekiss and Rotom to be out at the same time, because Togekiss wants to switch out to Rotom in case that it needs to eat an electric type attack, so they probably not something you don't want to go together. Then Dusclops Excadrill makes absolutely no sense. These two make absolutely no sense. You can't, even if you protect probably the only sense here is if you try to protect Excadrill with a fighting type move, then you can ally switch, but it's still 50-50, and Excadrill usually won't be powerful enough to take out a fighting type, but there may be some exceptions. I mean, that's a thing. And then Dusclops Dracovish, again, this does not make any sense. I don't see a reason for this to make sense at all, because, well, maybe if there's something like, I don't know, you're going up against a hyper-speed, hyper-offense team, maybe, and then they don't have Gastrodon or a water resist, then I guess you could switch this in. Although, do note that because Dracovish doesn't have Protect, you'll be probably at risk at getting Dracovish KO'd in the first turn, so yeah, you might not want to lead that. But again, just because these are leads that are discouraged doesn't mean that they're out of the running, you have to consider them in case you're a bit stuck. But otherwise, you might want to stick to your guns here. Again, safest leads, Togekiss Dusclops. Secondary lead is Togekiss Excadrill and Tyranitar Excadrill. And this is another tertiary lead. It can work if you protect Togekiss. Yeah, so that is going to be the common leads. And so now I'm going to show you some example videos, I guess. These are all Battle Stadium videos. The Battle Stadium videos about the team. So I just recently recorded this, and we'll see you there. I hope I can explain to you and demonstrate how this team works in practice. Alright, so this is going to be example 1, and as you can see with the opponent's team here, I don't think we really have a reason to deviate from the standard lead, so we'll do our standard lead here. And as you can see, I'll enter, I believe that was, what am I entering? So yeah, that's going to be my team. I'll be deploying Togekiss Dusclops, Tyranitar with Rotom in the back. I believe I wanted Rotom because of Excadrill or something, and I saw a lot of reasons to bring Rotom, but whatever. So that's gonna be it, and alright, so we have here turn 1. Yeah, first thing's great because you kind of can figure out what set they're running. So my opponent leads Milotic Sableye here. I don't see a reason to not use a Dazzling Gleam, although you can see here I was kind of considering using Trick Room because I'm not sure if the Milotic would be faster. And my opponent also has a Tyranitar in the back, so I'm kind of not sure. Will-O-Wisp misses, and yeah. So what happens here, I Dazzling Gleam, Sableye gets KO'd with a crit, I believe. Yep, crit in both of them. Dazzling Gleam doesn't deal enough to Milotic, but Milotic is good specialty defensive, so yeah. Unfortunately, Togekiss did move first, which means in Trick Room, Milotic will be moving next. So the great thing about this, even if I have the speed disadvantage, Dusclops is also slow enough so that I can do something like Pain Split to keep it healthy, and then bide my time to bring in Tyranitar later. And also do some chip damage with Pain Split, I guess. Because of Dusclops' slow HP, I can actually Pain Split from full HP and then still deal some damage. So what did happen here? He does bring out his Tyranitar to take advantage of the Trick Room. I believe I decided to Air Slash into Milotic because I don't want to activate the opposing Tyranitar's weakness policy. That's why I just kind of rock it and then hope that Togekiss gets taken out. Well, I don't really hope Togekiss gets taken out, but even if Togekiss gets taken out, I do have Tyranitar in the back. So, as you can see here, yeah, I do the Pain Split. I do the Pain Split on the Tyranitar to get some HP back. So there you see I can use chip damage, and yeah, I do some okay damage. Well, it's not really any damage. Rock's Fall take out Togekiss, and I believe the Milotic tried to Ice Beam Dusclops. Maybe hoping for a freeze, I don't know. I think a freeze would have been his best condition here because he might have realized at this point that my own Tyranitar is coming in, which obviously it was. So I just go for Bulldoze, and I believe I tried to Max Knuckle into the opposing Tyranitar. But it does Max Guard, which means my Max Knuckle didn't go anywhere. I believe I Max Knuckled here. So yeah, Bulldoze. Which was... Okay, this was actually dumb because I completely forgot about Milotic. So Milotic gets a competitive boost from Bulldoze. So yeah, after that I was kind of scared because we have a +2 Milotic on the field. It's a water type, can deal damage. Max Knuckle gets into Max Guard. Yep, that's... Oh, but, you know, the Milotic recovers. I don't think that matters anymore. So that does give me a turn to take advantage of the speed control because Tyranitar is now the slowest thing in the field. I can Max Knuckle or Max Rockfall into the Milotic. I think I chose to Rockfall into Milotic as I don't want to deal with the +2 Scald. And he actually switches out Tyranitar out of his Dynamax, which is interesting. So I believe I did. So I Pain Split into Dragapult. Dragapult has okay HP. 88 base is pretty high. Do some chip damage on it, and then I Rockfall. Yeah, I Rockfall into Milotic. After that, it's just pretty much a game, I guess, because I can Max Crunch into Max Darkness into Dragapult. Even if it protects, it's too soft to really resist anything. And then even if Trick Room goes out, Trick Room is out now, but I have so much things. I still have Rotom in the back. So I believe Tyranitar is also -1 SP def, so Leaf Storm is also going to take it out. And that, yeah, that's pretty much the standard game plan. Soften up the opponent with Togekiss first, Trick Room at the opportune time with Dusclops, bring Tyranitar in, and then just wreck things. So yeah, that's gonna be the first example. Let's look at other examples. Okay, so this is the next example. I believe I could have just led Togekiss Dusclops here, but just for demonstration, I did lead Togekiss Excadrill, I believe. So yeah, but Togekiss Dusclops doesn't seem like a bad idea here. Oh, another thing is, since there's a Ferrothorn on the other side, I kind of have to be careful about Trick Rooming because I can suddenly give it speed control accidentally. Also, because of this composition, you can kind of guarantee that Ferrothorn is coming in. Since you don't have a fire move and you don't have a fire type, you can almost guarantee that Ferrothorn is coming in. So you protect that Togekiss, so it's because it's your only fire move. Otherwise, you'd have to rely on Tyranitar superpowers to take it out, or neutral high horsepowers. But yeah. Anyway, so let's just proceed. I believe I did lead Togekiss Excadrill. What did I end up leading in the end? So Oh, sorry. the scrolling just kind of take a while. Sec. How do I increase the playback speed? Oh, okay. Okay, I can increase speed playback with this. Okay. So I did lead. I led with. I didn't even see it. So this is the lead I went. Excadrill, Togekiss, and Tyranitar in the back, and Dracovish. I believe I did bring Tyranitar still just in case it can lead with a fast thing, like I guess, yeah, Arcanine. I think I was scared about Arcanine. That's why I had Tyranitar in the back just in case I needed to get a faster Excadrill. So yeah. Alright, so let's just scroll through it and let's see. So we did lead Milotic and Sandaconda. It's kind of funny because I barely see Sandaconda, but I think this might be G-Max Sandaconda. So again, what I explained in the previous segment is that usually you don't want to Dynamax Excadrill, and seeing as how Togekiss is roughly safe here and outside of a Rockfall from Sandaconda, I guess I actually went for a Max Airstream. Yeah, I meant Max Airstream and just switching Dracovish because I didn't want Excadrill to just get Max Quake or whatever the G move is for Sandaconda. Excadrill's in a kind of bad position there, which is why I switch in Dracovish and then get some Airstreams in. So yeah, there's my Dynamax. He does Dynamax Sandaconda immediately. Airstream, of course. Even with a crit, Milotic doesn't get taken out because Milotic is super sturdy, which is annoying. So yeah, we get the plus speed there. But here's the thing. Icy Wind. If I didn't Airstream, Milotic would just take me out here. So that's great. This is still speed control working out in my favor. And as you can see here, it seems that Togekiss is the fastest thing in the field. So I definitely gotta protect that. Dracovish comes in, Max Steel Spike. And this is actually interesting. I don't know if he predicted to follow me, but yeah, he just goes ahead and Max Steel Spike to increase the defense. Which means my physical attackers might have a hard time bringing this out. Which means Togekiss, there's a lot more things going into a lot more on Togekiss' shoulders here. Does it even have shoulders? I don't think it has shoulders. Anyway, that is gonna be it. He does max guard Sandaconda, I believe, because he didn't want to fishes. Oh yeah, I remember. I wanted to gang up with Sandaconda because I didn't want it using its G-Max move to trap me, and I focused on it, sadly. But and he does get an Icy Wind, which means he gets the speed control, which is kind of annoying. But still not the end of the world because I don't believe Sandaconda has anything to take out Dracovish. Yeah, but I didn't have a good position here because I think what could happen is I could potentially eat another Icy Wind and then Steel Spike, which is why I max guarded with Togekiss. So I tried to attack, I believe, into Milotic. Yep, I predicted right. The Milotic. No, I actually tried to Sandaconda, but because of its +1 def and because it moved first, I can't do anything. So that happens here. So next thing, what happens is I believe I switch out Togekiss. Yeah, I'm gonna try attacking Dracovish and then switch out Togekiss because I need the Heat Wave. I switch back into Tyranitar, I believe, because I think I still had a use for Excadrill in case I needed to set up Sand again. And Excadrill is basically better at the late game. So I did bring in Tyranitar just to shoulder whatever. Because I didn't really need Tyranitar to do anything here. Except sponge some hits. And then reset Togekiss' stats. Because I didn't have the speed here. And I wanted Togekiss healthy. He does go for the Life Dew, which is annoying. But as you have it, you can Iron Head into Tyranitar, activate my weakness policy. I believe Fisher's Rend actually takes out Sandaconda here because it's no longer Dynamax. I will actually be able to deal good damage here. It's kind of interesting because of the crit, but I think outside of a crit, it might not have KO'd because Sandaconda has +1 defense and Sandaconda's high. Yeah, there comes in Ferrothorn, which is exactly why I wanted to keep Togekiss in. Tyranitar's, I guess I remember what I did here was just I tried to Fisher's Rend Milotic, and then it Rock Slided. I think that's what I did. Yeah, I crunched. Oh no, I crunched the Milotic. I guess I wanted Milotic out because it was threatening the rest of the team. So yeah, I learned Fisher's Rend. Milotic does get taken out. If I actually crunched it into Ferrothorn, it would have been better, but not really that bad. Interesting, Ferrothorn actually knocks off into Dracovish. I guess it doesn't have another answer to Dracovish after that. And after this, it's kind of pretty much a game because he doesn't have a proper solution to my Pokemon in the back at this point. And you can see here, I'm actually going to Rock Slide and just double attack because... Wait, did I actually predict the Protect? I might have predicted the Protect. It's kind of funny because he could have definitely taken out Excadrill with Arcanine, but he chose not to. So I guess, well, it works out. Works out in the end. Excadrill Togekiss comes in, and I believe the Arcanine tried to be cheeky and go for Extreme Speed here, but Togekiss is way too bulky. I get a high Sword Power Arcanine and then just Heat Wave into Ferrothorn, which seals the game. Yeah, that's going to be example number 2 for the Tyranitar Excadrill lead. Okay, so this is example number 3, and I'll kind of show you guys here what happens if Trick Room doesn't go up. We still have a solution, which is kind of interesting. And I believe the other team is actually Ryota Otsubo's team that he's using right now, the Inteleon Vanilluxe team. And it does have, so this is kind of interesting because we're both using Japanese teams from Champions. And so let's just jump right into it. I believe I led Togekiss, Dusclops, Tyranitar, and Dracovish. I wanted Dracovish because he had like a bunch of things. Actually, it's just kind of difficult. I was considering Rotom, Dracovish. I was considering everyone. I was even considering Excadrill. Excadrill might have been better, but at the same time, I might have a hard time with Inteleon, and judging from what I know about my opponent's team, Inteleon is the one gonna sweep. That's why I decided to bring Dracovish at the end. Yeah, I should probably hurry up and decide. Yep, I brought Dracovish, yeah. Wait, did I actually bring Tyranitar? I did bring Tyranitar, okay. So, next one we have... Right, so Togekiss Dusclops comes in. As you can see when the turn actually happens, I go for Dazzling Gleam and Trick Room. I didn't want to Heat Wave into... I didn't want to Heat Wave because I don't want to activate Chandeler's Flash Fire. And because Chandeler on the Flash Fire is really strong and I don't want to do that same mistake again. So what happens here is I do get Dazzling Gleam. So Whimsicott, I don't remember. I think Whimsicott might have Fake Tears or something. Or Moonblasted. So, here's the thing. So, imprison Trick Room. So, I cannot Trick Room in this turn, which is why I had to improvise. Which is why I did this next move, which is basically... I had to consider first, did I want to push Trick Room or not? I went for my second mode, which is basically to switch in Dracovish. So, I actually considered So, I actually switched into Dynamaxing Togekiss here. And Airstream to give Dracovish an immediate speed boost. Yep. And take note, this is still when Dracovish's EVs were wrong. I mean, nature was wrong. So so if I can't Trick Room, then I'll just Airstream my Dracovish. The opponent doesn't have Gastrodon, so I guess that's fine. You gotta Fake Tears into that one, surprisingly enough. Airstream into Chandelure, which takes it out because I think that was a crit. Yeah. Scope Lens is so dumb on Togekiss, I swear. I swear, Scope Lens is super dumb. So now that I have a +1, I believe I can actually outspeed Inteleon unless it's Tailwinds. So it's forced to Tailwind, and Max Hailstorm is actually not stabbed, so I still might have a chance to survive it. Which is probably why what my opponent did here is... But yeah, I was expecting a Tailwind and a Max Hailstorm, so That's why I max guarded its turn. But he doesn't actually do it. It actually protects, and I believe I tried to Fisher's Rend into Inteleon because I think I was still faster. It Moonblast into Dracovish, funnily enough, but Dracovish hangs on. Oh! You know, the plus SP def actually helped me out there. My wrong nature actually helped me out there, interestingly enough. But yeah, with this turn, this turn in, max Airstream again, I guess, to get another speed. Fisher's Rend just, I believe I Fisher's Rend into Inteleon to really damage it because it's the sweeper right now. It's gonna Fake Tears again, which is kind of surprising. But then, you see what happens here? That Dracovish is still faster, even at +1 speed, which is kind of interesting because it kind of hints at me that the Inteleon might not be max speed, or I don't know, because I was under the impression that Inteleon would still be faster than Dracovish after +1, but I guess I was wrong. Because that really helped, as it's not even faster than Togekiss either, but I guess it makes sense now. Oh my god, look at Togekiss' face there. So I do take out Inteleon in one turn, doesn't get to use its Dynamax, and after this, it's kind of game because Dracovish is running with +2 speed here, so I can just Fisher's Rend and +2 everything, just Fisher's Rend, Fake Out. He faked out Togekiss, I can just Fisher's Rend into anything. Because Fake Out came in first, I can kill Scrafty with the ×2, but doesn't matter anyway, I can just Dazzling Beam the next turn and then just finish it off. Wait, what? What happened? How did Togekiss actually get taken out? Oh, right, I was a -4. Okay. Right, I was -4, so Moonblast definitely took me out. I took Whimsicott out because I think it might deal damage to Tyranitar, but Tyranitar does Clops in the back. And to make sure I actually Trick Room here, because I believe this Scrafty is not mint. So I Trick Room, and then just Superpower into Scrafty. Yep, that's pretty much game. So, yep. That's going to be the... Alright, I guess I can talk briefly about the matches I had. So I was able to screenshot the teams of my opponents. So I did screenshot it just to share it with you guys in case I actually won the thing, which I did. So yeah, first match I had I fought against a Charizard team, and I believe game 1 he brought out Togekiss and... I don't remember Charizard. No, I think it was Togekiss Duraludon, or I remember. Togekiss dealt a lot of damage here with all the crits, and in game 2, I believe I led Togekiss Excadrill, but I would have lost that, except Excadrill kind of like double flinched something at a crucial time, and I was able to take out Charizard without problems. So yeah. Another thing, so this is the second match. I didn't screenshot this one, but this was basically my opponent's team. Another Charizard team, and this team kind of had a problem with Charizard. He brought Indeedee all 3 times. I believe the lead on game 1 and 3, but on the back in game 2. The problem here really was making sure that Charizard won't take you out. And I believe if the Charizards were Solar Power now, it might actually have given me a loss. But since there's no Solar Power G-Max Charizard yet, we're able to pull this out. I believe he actually brought Raichu in game 1, but he wasn't able to stop... Dusclops Tyranitar in game 3. And then for my third round, it went to 3 games again because I keep losing the second game as I kept shuffling what to do with Togekiss Excadrill. It's actually with this tournament I realized that Togekiss Excadrill, I was playing Togekiss Excadrill wrong. I was not supposed to Dynamax Excadrill early, that doesn't work. So this one was interesting actually. This round, I found that this guy had no Protect on his Ludicolo. It was Life Orb, so I figured out that it was Life Orb because of the lead. I think he led Ludicolo Indeedee at one point and then switched into Pelipper. He was Life Orb, not Assault Vest, so I was surprised to realize that his Ludicolo had Focus Blast and it dealt like 60% to Tyranitar, which was annoying. I also couldn't Trick Room properly because of the Araquanid, so I was kind of close to losing this one. But it came down to a game 3 where I predicted that he was going to predict Ally Switch, so I didn't Ally Switch, and was able to take out his Tyranitar before his Araquanid before it can do too much damage to Tyranitar. Next one, on round 4, I believe this just kind of went... Yeah, this kind of went standard. He brought Duraludon. My problem was more Peko. I couldn't stop it from just keeping on boosting in the first turn. And Trick Room came up pretty late. Also, Darmanitan, I couldn't handle Darmanitan properly. And second game, I believe he tried to Sleep Powder. Yeah, he went some Sleep Powder with Butterfree, but what I did was I basically fought it out with, I believe it was still Togekiss Dusclops, I don't remember anymore. And then just made sure that switch-ins were proper and fight through the sleep. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think if I got 3 turn sleeps there, I may have been screwed over. But we're not getting 3 turn sleeps, so that's fine. Then the next one, I was battling a hard Trick Room with Whimsicott, Dracovish, Darmanitan. And this was kind of annoying. One thing interesting about this is that because of his Whimsicott, his Rhyperior actually is really fast. So when Trick Room went up, it actually turned out that Tyranitar was moving first, which meant that on game 2, we had to, I had to push Trick Room while he was stopping Trick Room from going up. Which is where the Whimsicott kind of came in, because the Whimsicott had Taunt. So it was stopping Dusclops from setting up Trick Room, and yeah. That's kind of funny. I did lose this game though, 0-2, sadly. Because in game 1, I was supposed to win it. But Rock Slide kind of missed. I think it was just a one-on-one between Tyranitar and Torkoal. Torkoal is slower, of course, because it's Torkoal. Then there was 1 turn of Trick Room left. But Tyranitar was still healthy. I remember this one well. I tried to Rock Slide, and it missed. It missed, and he was able to do an eruption and a solar beam in that time because a Rock Slide won't take it out, as I wasn't able to activate my weakness policy. So yeah, game 6. Oh, where's the game? Oh, game 5. You guys might have seen, if you're watching this from Reddit, you guys might have seen this team from someone else. Yep, I did fight this guy, and I was almost lost this one. Handling all the paralysis from Pikachu was annoyingly enough, and if I had to struggle, this was when rotom-mow really shined, because I needed a proper way to deal with Togekiss as well as not get destroyed by Ferrothorn. Rotom-mow was the perfect fit for this one. I barely scraped this out I didn't see this special Centiskorch that this was running, but yeah, it's scary. Follow me, I couldn't take out Pikachu early enough, and yeah. Sometimes at one point I believe I actually let Paralyze do its work for Togekiss. I let Togekiss get paralyzed and used it in Trick Room, but it just wasn't proving well enough. Then round 7, I was up against this one. This was actually a modified version of the Raichu Gyarados team that was going around Reddit. He wasn't able to stop the Tyranitar Rampage at first. And the second move, and because I knew this team kind of well from reading a lot about it, I was able to play around it, and yeah, that got me into Top Cut. Then for the Top Cut match, this one, it was pure Trick Room, and my problem here was actually Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr is hard for sand teams, and I only had like one real good answer to Conkeldurr at this point. He also had Gastrodon to handle Dracovish. So what actually ended up happening here is that Dracovish Psychic Fang was pretty much my ace, as Psychic Fang actually hit Conkeldurr super effective, so I had a secondary option to it. In the third game, I was able to clutch it out because I locked my Dracovish to Psychic Fangs over Fish's Rend. And Psychic Fangs also help break screens, which is a really, really nice bonus. I'm so glad Psychic Fangs is a thing, and although so few Pokemon can learn it, it's actually good in a format where Grimmsnarl is running around. I was able to clutch out this win. I believe I had to stop Trick Room from coming up. So I was kind of circling around. I believe we actually had a double Trick Room. I was trying to turn off the Trick Room from his opposing Dusclops and things like that. Yeah. Then the next one, this was actually a match from from the guy I lost to in Swiss. This time I think it was just 2 rounds. I don't remember. It might have been 3, because here I realized that I was having a hard time with Darmanitan. So at one point I actually I actually went hard Dusclops, Togekiss, sacrificed Togekiss into Trick Room Tyranitar. It actually worked out for once, but later I believe he brought out Whimsicott, and I had to play around the Darmanitan. I believe I was letting Dusclops soak all the damage to Darmanitan, and then I don't remember if I Dynamax Rotom in this point. I had to do some improvisation just so this Rhyperior won't take me out. Of course, he can't Trick Room because my Tyranitar is slower than his Rhyperior, which means my Tyranitar can actually get the speed control there. So that's interesting enough. Then for the last one, this one. This team had a lot of things that countered me. And, you know, there's a lot about this team that I can't say because it got a lot of secret moves that I don't want to share. And, the guy using this requested to not share his team yet. But let me just say that this was hard and I probably should have lost this, but during game 3, my opponent made some really wacky plays. I was down 2-4, but he had 2 versus 4, but he had, I believe it was still Duraldon, Rotom, Togekiss, Mudsdale? I think it was Mudsdale, I don't remember. But basically what happened was he wasn't Will-O-Wisping my Tyranitar, strangely enough. Even so, I got Trick Room, I believe 3 turns of Dynamax Trick Room with Tyranitar at the end. And yeah, there's a lot of things here. I did have to play around here. I probably lost this one if my opponent played correctly, but yeah, that's gonna be it. And so that's gonna be it for the battle reports. Let's move back into the game screen so you can see the rental code again. Alright, this is going to be the conclusion. Again, guys, this is the team rental code. You can try it out yourself, but this is not the final version of this team. And this is not my team either. This is Hirofumi Kimura's team. I'll link his Twitter in the description and also the 2 videos I used to make this team. So, will I keep using this team? I might use it in Aim for Master, at least until people keep figuring out how to play around it. By then, I'll probably change teams. And moving forward, I might keep delivering. I don't know if I can still make an original team of mine because I'm kind of bad at team building. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'll keep delivering Japanese teams to you guys. I'll keep looking around the Japanese VGC players, try to use their teams in hopes that I'll improve, and then maybe in the future, just maybe, especially when after Home comes out, I might be able to create a team of my own. But for now, that is going to be it. Try this teams out yourself. Again, I'm Zekira G. Drake. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel, like the video because I need YouTube to cooperate with me, and watch Aim for Master. I have an entire series, although I don't update every day like the other Pokemon VGC YouTubers. Although I do kind of enjoy playing VGC still, even if I hate the format. I love playing the game itself. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.